You've been wondering, and deep down, you know something's off. Your gut is screaming, but your mind keeps making excuses. Listen closely. This is the truth that no one wants to hear. Your wife, she might be cheating on you. But it's not as obvious as you think. No lipstick on the collar or late-night confessions. These red flags are subtle, and they'll haunt you. Want to know more? Subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Trust me, this could change everything. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. She stops caring about your appearance. There's a point when you start to notice it, subtle at first but impossible to ignore. The way your wife suddenly stops complimenting you, or worse, completely ignores the changes you've made. Remember when you'd get a, "Wow, that new haircut looks amazing on you," or "I love that shirt." Now, those compliments have vanished, replaced by indifference. It's not because she's too busy or having a rough week. No, something deeper is happening. When she stops noticing the way you look, it's a red flag. You've invested time in yourself, perhaps getting that fresh haircut or buying a new jacket, and yet she doesn't even bat an eye. In fact, it feels like you're invisible to her now. This isn't just neglect, it's emotional withdrawal, a sign that someone else may be getting that attention. Think about it. When someone is emotionally invested in you, they notice the little things. They take pride in seeing you look good. But when that connection fades, even something as simple as a change in your appearance becomes irrelevant. If she's not reacting to your updates, whether it's a new look or a change in your routine, it could be because her focus has shifted to someone else who's now occupying that space in her life. And here's the kicker. This isn't about you losing your charm. It's about her pulling away, intentionally or subconsciously. It's not just that she stopped noticing, it's that she's emotionally checked out. And the deeper you dig, the more you'll see the signs of her detachment. But this lack of care is just the beginning. In the next part, you'll uncover a red flag even more manipulative than this one that might break your heart. Stay tuned. Chapter 2. She's always tired or too busy for affection. Have you noticed that affection between you two has gone from passionate to practically non-existent? When you try to initiate closeness, suddenly she's too tired, too busy, or not in the mood. Sound familiar? You used to share those quiet moments together, but now every attempt feels forced or rejected. At first, you may convince yourself that it's just a phase. After all, life can be stressful, right? Maybe she's working harder, dealing with family issues, or just needs some personal space. But the reality is much harsher. When a partner pulls away from physical closeness, it's often a sign of emotional distance. And emotional distance typically means that she's investing her energy elsewhere. Think back to how things used to be. She was the one who would snuggle up to you, initiate affection, or express desire. But now, even the smallest gesture of closeness is met with excuses. It's not just a matter of being too tired or busy. It's a deliberate withdrawal. She's distancing herself because the emotional and physical connection that once existed has been replaced by something or someone else. Here's the truth. Affection isn't just about physical touch. It's about connection. When that connection starts to fade, so does the closeness. And when someone emotionally disconnects, they often start redirecting their energy to another person, someone who still makes them feel desired and appreciated. But don't fool yourself into thinking it's just about the physical. The next red flag? It'll show you just how deep the emotional detachment goes. The signs are subtle, but they're clear, and they're impossible to ignore. Stick around. Chapter 3. She's more forgetful than ever. You've probably brushed it off at first. After all, everyone forgets things from time to time, right? But when your wife starts forgetting significant events, like your anniversary, her birthday, or even the details of your last conversation, it's not a coincidence. This isn't just forgetfulness. It's a tactic, a strategy to emotionally detach herself from you without it being too obvious. Think back to the last time she forgot something important. Maybe she didn't remember the plans you made weeks ago, or completely blanked on a milestone you both had been looking forward to. And when you bring it up, you get a half-hearted excuse like, "I've been so busy," or "I didn't mean to." But you know something's off. Her lack of attention to the things that used to matter shows a subtle yet significant shift in her priorities. The truth is, when someone is emotionally checked out, they stop caring about the little things. Anniversaries, special moments, and even your casual conversations lose their significance because someone else, either emotionally or physically, is now occupying the space you once held. She's not forgetting out of absent-mindedness. She's distancing herself, protecting her emotional energy from something that feels too close, too intimate. This emotional detachment is her way of easing into a life where you're no longer her priority. And the deeper you look, the more you'll see how much she's already pulled away. This isn't a one-off slip. It's a sign that she's mentally and emotionally preparing to let go. But the worst part, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The next red flag will make you question everything you thought you knew about your relationship. Stay tuned. Chapter 4. The secretive friends and social media have. You noticed how her social media activity has suddenly changed. Maybe she's become more secretive with her accounts, or worse, she's creating new friendships that you've never heard of before. If she's tagging people you don't recognize, sharing cryptic quotes, or posting about a group of friends you've never met, it's time to pay attention. This isn't just about a sudden interest in privacy. It's a red flag. She used to share moments with you, posting pictures together, or talking about things you both enjoyed. But now, her posts seem more personal, more about her and less about you. There's a shift in her online presence, one that signals a rebranding of herself, separate from you. Maybe she's suddenly more active, posting selfies with a group you've never heard of, or writing vague, emotional posts about moving forward or self-discovery. These aren't just random updates. They're signs that she's testing out a new version of herself, one that doesn't include you. The more secretive she gets with her online presence, the clearer it becomes. She's creating a new identity, one that doesn't involve you. Social media is often the first place people start to explore new relationships or alternate realities. When you're no longer part of her narrative, something is off. It's a quiet form of distancing that can go unnoticed until it's too late. But this new behavior isn't just confined to her online world. The next red flag is even more unsettling, and will show you just how far she's gone in detaching herself emotionally. Get ready for a wake-up call. Chapter 5. She starts overcompensating for guilt. Suddenly, she's being too nice. She's buying you unexpected gifts, surprising you with your favorite dinner, or acting overly affectionate. At first, you might think, maybe she's just feeling more loving lately. But this isn't love. It's damage control. When someone starts going out of their way to be extra sweet, it's often a sign they're hiding something. And in this case, that something is likely guilt. This kind of behavior doesn't just happen overnight. It's a calculated attempt to cover up something she knows is wrong. Maybe she's been emotionally or physically involved with someone else, and now she's trying to compensate for her actions. The gifts and gestures aren't out of a newfound desire to make you happy. They're out of guilt, plain and simple. She's trying to smooth things over, make herself feel better, and cover the tracks of her emotional or physical infidelity. You've seen it before. One minute she's distant and cold, and the next she's showering you with affection. The suddenness of it all is what makes it suspicious. This overcompensation isn't a gesture of love. It's a response to her own discomfort. She's trying to balance the scales, acting as though everything is fine when deep down she knows it's not. But here's the kicker. Guilt doesn't just show up in gifts or gestures. It manifests in even more manipulative ways. The next red flag will make you realize just how deep her deception goes, and it'll leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about your relationship. Stay tuned. Chapter 6. She starts speaking in I instead of we. It might start off as a small change in how she speaks, but don't dismiss it. This shift in language speaks volumes. When your wife starts using I instead of we, it's a sign that she's mentally and emotionally disconnecting from the relationship. At first, you might not think much of it. After all, people use I all the time, right? But listen closely to what's being said. When you ask about plans for the weekend or long-term goals, and she suddenly shifts from "we should do this" to "I think I'll go out with friends," or "I'm planning on doing this," you're hearing a subtle but powerful message. She's making choices that no longer include you in her future. It's a small, almost imperceptible way of signaling that she no longer sees you as part of her long-term plans. This shift in language isn't just about a choice of words. It reflects a deeper emotional separation. When someone no longer feels connected, they stop thinking of the relationship as we and start focusing on I. It's the beginning of an emotional exit, and it's often the clearest sign that she's already envisioning a life that doesn't involve you. The more this happens, the more you'll realize she's mentally checked out. She's made plans that don't involve you, and she's slowly but surely separating her identity from yours. It's not just about the change in language, it's about what it signifies, a shift in attachment. And just when you think you've figured out what's happening, the next red flag will blow your mind. It'll leave you questioning everything, and it's one you might never see coming. Stay with me. Chapter 7. Her defensiveness reaches new heights. Have you ever asked your wife about something that feels off, only to have her snap back at you with an intensity that catches you off guard? Suddenly, any simple question turns into a full-blown argument. This defensiveness isn't just about protecting herself, it's a classic sign of guilt. When she becomes unusually defensive, even about trivial things, it's a way of deflecting attention from the real issue. You've probably noticed it. You ask her a simple question like, "Who are you texting?" or "What's going on with that new friend of yours?" And instead of a calm answer, she turns on you. She accuses you of being overly suspicious or starts throwing out insults. You find yourself walking on eggshells, trying to keep the peace, but the tension is palpable. Why does this happen? It's because she's projecting. When someone feels guilty about something they're hiding, the instinct is to turn the tables and make you feel like you're the one at fault. The more defensive she gets, the more she's trying to deflect attention from her own actions. This is her way of turning the spotlight onto you, so you stop questioning her behavior. This isn't a normal response to a healthy relationship, it's manipulation. She's trying to control the narrative and make you second-guess your instincts. It's a psychological defense mechanism that's meant to confuse you, throw you off balance, and make you doubt what you already know in your gut. But this red flag is just the beginning of the manipulation. The next sign will show you how deep her emotional distancing really goes, and it'll leave you shaken. You won't believe what comes next. Stay tuned. Chapter 8. The emotional cold shoulder. Have you noticed a growing emotional distance between you two? The moments when you used to connect, share your thoughts, or just enjoy each other's company seem to be fading away. She's becoming more distant, shutting down emotionally, even when intimacy should be present. No matter how hard you try to reach out, it feels like you're talking to a wall. This is one of the most painful red flags because it's a sign that her heart is no longer with you. When someone stops being emotionally available, it's often because they're already emotionally invested elsewhere. She's pulling back, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. The warm, loving gestures you once shared are replaced with indifference, and even casual conversations feel strained. You try to talk to her about your day, but she's distracted, detached, or simply uninterested. She may be there in the room, but she's not really there. It's not just about the lack of affection, It's the absence of emotional connection. When someone stops engaging with you emotionally, it's as if a part of them has checked out, leaving you standing in the cold. You can sense it. She's no longer opening up to you, sharing her thoughts, or seeking comfort in your presence. In short, she's stopped investing emotionally in the relationship, and that's a dangerous sign. This emotional withdrawal is one of the final steps in the process of detachment, and while you're still trying to connect, she's already moving on. But this isn't the worst part. The next red flag will hit you harder than you expect, and it'll force you to see the truth in a way you never have before. Stay with me. Chapter 9. She suddenly has a new set of interests. Have you noticed your wife picking up new hobbies or interests that have nothing to do with your shared life together? Maybe she's suddenly hitting the gym, signing up for cooking classes, or traveling solo to places you've never discussed. It's not just self-improvement. This is a sign that she's actively trying to reinvent herself. And the truth is, she's doing it for someone else. When someone's emotionally checked out, they start looking for new experiences and identities, often as a way to distance themselves from the past. These new interests aren't just about finding new ways to pass the time. They're about separating from the life she once shared with you. The more she starts focusing on activities that don't involve you, the clearer it becomes. She's rebranding herself for someone else. This isn't just about improving her own life. It's about creating a version of herself that fits a new narrative, one that doesn't have you in it. Think about it. These new hobbies didn't exist before. Maybe she never showed an interest in yoga, or she never considered traveling alone. Now, suddenly, these things are becoming a bigger part of her life, and you're left wondering why you're not included. It's not that she's doing something wrong by wanting to grow. It's that these new parts of her are signs that her emotional energy is shifting, and she's making space for someone else to fit into the life she's building without you. This new set of interests is a clear signal of detachment. But this isn't the only change. The next red flag is even more telling, and it might make you realize just how much she's already moved on. You won't want to miss what comes next. Stay tuned. Chapter 10. She stops caring about your relationship's future. One of the most devastating signs that your wife is emotionally checking out is when she stops making plans for the future. It's no longer, "we should do this," or "let's plan for that." Instead, she avoids discussions about vacations, long-term goals, or even family plans altogether. When you try to talk about your future together, she either changes the subject, gives vague responses, or flat out refuses to engage. This isn't just a casual disinterest, it's a clear sign that she doesn't see you in her future anymore. This shift is a painful realization. The woman who once dreamed of a shared life, talked about your future together, and made plans for tomorrow, has now detached herself from those conversations. Every time you bring up long-term ideas, whether it's about a vacation, a new house, or even a weekend getaway, she brushes it off. She doesn't see you as a part of her future, and the silence that follows is deafening. Think about it. When someone is still emotionally invested in a relationship, they make plans. They talk about the future, about growing together, and about building a life. But when those plans stop, it's as if the foundation of the relationship begins to crumble. She's already started to see her life without you, and that's a gut-wrenching realization. The truth is, when someone stops caring about a shared future, it's often because they've already mentally moved on. And while you're still holding on, she's already looking ahead without you. See you in the next video.